Okay, all right. So let's now pivot to thought of the week. Uniswap version 3 was announced last week. Are you excited? The options are one, yes, it's worth the wait. The second option, not really. I was expecting more. So go to menti.com, menti.com. Use the code 21024399. So, fellas, what are your thoughts on Uniswap V3? Do you think the hype is real? Forrest?
Yeah, so I was a little from a retail LP perspective, right? So people that don't have millions of dollars to provide liquidity with. I was a little bit disappointed and underwhelmed in Uniswap version 3. And I say that as somebody who bought a big bag of Uniswap version 3 right before this announcement came out, or before they provided more details. In the short term, it's made me more bullish on Bancor. And the reason it's made me more bullish on Bancor is because I think smaller or more or retail LPs that are maybe dealing with providing liquidity in amounts between 10,000 and maybe a few $100,000 aren't going to be as interested in the concentrated liquidity portion of Uniswap version 3, where you can provide liquidity just for certain price ranges. I think those people are going to be more interested in the Bancor impermanent loss solution, right? I think those people are going to be more worried about impermanent loss if this bull market just continues to rally, and they don't want to be left behind with massive amounts of impermanent loss, especially if they're providing liquidity to a U.S. Stablecoin pair like DAI ETH or DAI wrapped Bitcoin, right? So I think for the big players that are providing a lot of liquidity, this concentrated liquidity thing is awesome. It's really cool. It's going to make capital more efficient, capital allocation more efficient, and people are going to be able to provide just to a certain price range and then adjust that again when the price changes. But those price changes for smaller retail liquidity providers could add up. The gas fees could add up, right? So I think the smaller players are going to be pushed more towards Bancor, maybe.
All right, thank you, Forrest. Bill?
Okay, so the big question is, what is the value of Uniswap, right? How do you value Uniswap as an exchange? Obviously, I've already discussed, comparing it and looking at Coinbase. From hearing the update from Forrest, it sounds like Uniswap is trying to transition and pivot to be something that the big guys can play on so they don't get left behind in the event Coinbase and players like Binance wind up with a war chest of money trying to lure people to their platforms. So I think Uniswap is maybe leaving the little guy behind, but they may have to because they know the big guys are coming. For example, Novogratz backing 1inch. Okay. Everyone is not going to win in this space. So I see it as Uniswap kind of like holding up its shield, trying to protect itself and trying to protect its sort of leading name brand in the space. Now, all that said, this makes the price action in Uniswap, say over the next 2 weeks, all the more important. What I think about Uniswap version 3 doesn't matter. Forrest knows the fundamentals, but in terms of, how do you value Uniswap, that is going to be determined by Mr. Market. I notice sushi is currently getting hammered as we speak, down about 5%. And I will just reiterate what I was talking about earlier. I do not want to see Uniswap go much lower. I do not want to see it make a new low for the move. It's going to trip some of our models and signal Mr. Market voting thumbs down on version 3. Not totally thumbs down, but again, the altcoin market is very dependent on Uniswap, the token, and the name brand remaining powerful. Anything that hurts Uni hurts alts.
All right, thank you, Bill. So I brought up the blog post announcement here on version 3. So I think this is very, very innovative, but also very, I mean, it's a bold leap of faith on their part, right? Because from a technology standpoint, let me scroll down here. For those who maybe missed the announcement, if you just go to their blog post, I'll just search for the V3 announcement. Let me kind of go down here and showcase this image, right? So for those who don't know, with V2, the issue you had was really impermanent loss. Now, they haven't fully solved it from my understanding, but however, they have given the LP more control in terms of where exactly they want to provide liquidity, meaning that it's going from just kind of applying liquidity across the entire spectrum of the curve to now have you as the LP, you as the liquidity provider can take a sniper approach and pinpoint exactly what price points, what price range you would like to have liquidity. And I think this is very, very innovative. But to me, what really stood out even more was somewhere down here at the bottom. Let me see if I can pull this up here. The license agreement. Right? So basically, they're doing what's called a business source license, meaning that anybody who wants to use this open source technology or code has to, for any commercial or business purpose, has to wait 2 years until they can use it. Now, that kind of goes against the ethos of open source and crypto and DeFi, but I totally get where they're coming from. Because last time they put out technology or code that was open source, SushiSwap just took the entire technology and code, forked them, and now at one point I think had more total locked assets than Uni did, which does scare them as a VC-backed company. So I can totally see why they would put this. And I'm curious to see how the open source cryptocurrency community will respond to this. Will they respect this? Will they completely ignore this and still fork their code? But I think this will be very, very interesting in the sense that let's say a project like SushiSwap or any other project forks V3, makes their own DEX. Will a centralized exchange list that forked coin? Will Binance or Coinbase list the legal ramifications of possibly being sued by Uniswap for listing a project that has stolen and violated their license? Because I know even GitHub also has legal concerns where they won't upload or host any code that's violating any license. So this is a very, very interesting fork in the road in a way, the entire cryptocurrency DeFi movement. So for me, I'm very, very interested to see how other projects respond to this. Is this the start of something new? Is this the start of a trend? Because on the other hand, Uniswap themselves really were inspired by Bancor, because Bancor was really the first AMM, and Uniswap really kind of took their entire formula and I think part of the code and built something even better. So that's kind of my take on that. But let's go back here and see what people have to say. And the winner is not really. I was expecting more. So people were expecting a lot more from V3. Let us know what you think. Do you think the audience is wrong? Do you think they're right? Let us know why down below.
Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com.